Our lists for 2016 are somewhat different from each other, and a lot of it doesn't have that much overlap. So what we're going to end up doing is we're each going to make a best film of 2016 list. Okay?
Yeah.
However,
2016, good year.
there was one film that did come up on both of our lists that I think is really worth talking about. So we can call it the Bird's Eye View Mutual Best Film of 2016.
Yeah, best friends agree. Woo!
Best mutual film. And the answer to that is The Nice Guys with Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling.
I mean, you just can't go wrong.
It just felt so good. It had a good balance of humor, had a good balance of drama. It had that 70s feel to it. I really just thought the theme and the tone of it were excellent.
I'm going to tell you right now that the word on the street, and I'm going to say we don't know from experience because we're not connected, that Russell Crowe is a bit of a dick.
You've said this before.
No, that's what we've heard. Okay? And in the grand scheme of things, we think he's a great actor. But of all people that we thought that he would have phenomenal chemistry with, Ryan Gosling would not have been on the top of my list.
That's actually true now that you mention it. I would never have thought that Ryan Gosling, like a much younger male
and
actor,
kind of feminine, you know. Don't get me wrong, I like him.
And kind of feminine?
I like him, but he's a little bit soft-spoken and a little feminine.
And a little feminine. Okay.
Well, where you got Russell Crowe, who's played more of the gruff, manlier men in his roles.
They just work so
They
well.
did. You know, I would say there's very few times where you see chemistry in a movie that is just so good that you're like...
You can tell when it's there.
Exactly. And this,
absolutely.
I would even go so far as to say would be on the same level as the Ocean's movies with Brad Pitt and George Clooney.
Yeah.
Because...
And George Clooney's a master of charisma.
He is. And let's face it, I don't care who you are. The Ocean's movies, whether you liked them or not, the relationship between Brad Pitt and George Clooney in those movies were fucking perfect.
Yeah.
I will never forget that scene where George Clooney and Brad Pitt are sitting at the bar, and George Clooney's like, should we have another? And Brad Pitt's sitting there like, and he's like, you think we should have another? All right, we'll have another. It sounds stupid, but if you watch that scene, it just seemed like they were mentally in sync as characters.
Yeah, so, and I think that everyone who's seen it has felt that. Even if they didn't like the plot or the way the movie is presented, everyone feels that connection that they have.
And this would be the closest I've seen to that in a long time.
Oh, I agree. This is the first buddy movie I recall seeing in a theater in quite a while.
Bro approved.
And that's a big
Sup,
thing.
bro?
Sup, bruh? But the thing that I really think sucks about The Nice Guys is commercially, it didn't do that great. It didn't make that much money. It got kind of pushed aside for whatever reason, and that sucks because I think that's one of the few movies where I would like a sequel. I would like to see that again. I'd like to see it in a different situation.
I'm going to put this out there. I think 2016 was a shit year for movies. Not that I'm saying that there wasn't any good movies out there, but there was no movie out there that would live forever. Like a Forrest Gump that's just going to carry on.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. No, I think there is. I think Hacksaw Ridge is that movie.
My view on it is 2016 had some good movies. I liked Deadpool. I liked The Nice Guys. And we'll talk about some of those others later.
And I liked Batman v Superman, as I'm sure you know if you've seen this channel.
And we'll talk about that later. But my point being is 2016 felt a little hollow to me.
It didn't seem to have a Revenant, like a big, that's the best movie.
Or even if, like, some years they don't have a Revenant, but they at least have a blockbuster, like a Star Wars.
Well, we had Civil War and Star Wars.
But what I'm saying is, like,
what the fuck are you talking about?
Wars, what I'm saying is the Star Wars trilogy, the lineage of Star Wars, that's an important landmark, even if it sucks, because it's part of a grand scheme. Rogue One is a spin-off. It's a new approach to things. It's Disney's first real philosophical take on things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it's different.
Okay.
It's not the landmark that it would be if it was part of
but I feel like
the lineage.
Civil War goes against what you're saying.
Civil War sucked. That's what I'm saying. Why are we going back to children's movies? You want to talk about Finding Nemo too while we're at it?
All right. So for you, it was a weak year. So just to reiterate, The Nice Guys is the movie that we agreed is definitely one of the best of the year.
I think it's incredibly underrated.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It just got glanced over. There are other critics picking it as in their top 5, but I feel like the general public just went right through it.
My thing is, I think the biggest problem was their advertisement strategy.
Yeah, I agree. But it's hard to market a movie like that. It's a very old school type of movie.
They marketed it very well at the beginning. And then as it got closer to the movie's actual release, you didn't hear anything about it.
True.
I didn't even realize it was in theaters until I was getting it on demand. And
it was never a big market movie, though. Like, it was never going to be marketed like a
but if they thumped it, if they took that time that they invested in the front end and moved it to right before, I think it would have been more noticeable.
I think the people who saw it just dropped the ball by not telling other people. Mm-hmm. You know, it just didn't seem to motivate.
My wife likes nothing but horror movies, and even she laughed her ass off.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't fight a good, funny movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not your next Titanic or The Notebook, but there's something to be said for a comedy movie that's not just slapstick humor.
It was a very quality, high-end comedy. So with that being said, I will have my list of my personal best movies of 2016. Jay will have his list of his personal 2016, so be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, did you see The Nice Guys? And if not, go see it, please.
And you know what? Let's try something a little different. Let's get a little intimate. Maybe I'll give you a kiss.
What the fuck?
I'm just kidding. I don't want to kiss any of you. Not because there's anything wrong with you. You're wonderful. But I'm a one-man guy. And that's my man.
If you're the one girl watching this, I feel bad for you.
Well, my point is, please, give us some comments. Tell us what you want us to talk about. Because we would be more than happy to switch it up and be a little lazy and not have to think about it ourselves.
All right. Thanks for coming. Hit the subscribe button.
Share with a friend, for the love of God!